Hello, everybody, and welcome to Reviews That Don't Matter with Jessica Hitt. My name is Jessica Hitt. On today's episode, we are talking, of course, it's Tuesday, a day late again, but I get tired on Sunday nights after work, so I don't necessarily want to watch it. And then I work 10 hours on Monday, so you know what? You don't need to know my work schedule, but I'm tired. I watched it last night after work, and I'm reviewing it this morning, so here we go. This is Westworld, Season 2, Episode 3. These people who are writing this show just decided to drop a third world on us. And we, of course, knew about Westworld. That's where this is set, obviously. And then before the whole season started, we learned about Shogun World, which is kind of like a samurai type of world, which we haven't even seen fully yet. We just got teased a little bit at the end of this episode. But before we even see the second park that we were introduced to, technically, we see a third park. And this park is like a safari park. I'm assuming it's in, India or something like that, where there's Bengal tigers and elephants, which I don't appreciate the use of real elephants just because, I have a thing for elephants. They're incredibly smart creatures that don't deserve to be just carrying people around and have their back messed up for the whole lives. But whatever, I digress. So you start off with these two people that are meeting, and you don't know if they're hosts, you don't know if they're real, but there's something fishy about them. They're both really not sure if the other one is a host or if they're real, which, if you're already questioning whether somebody is host or real, you're probably real, because the hosts don't know they're hosts, right? So basically, they meet, and they're talking, and then they decide to make out, and then the lady, who I like a lot, is like, you might be a host, because your body is too good looking. And so then she decides to shoot him, and at first I'm just like, oh, is this going to be the moment where, the guns turn on the people, and you're allowed to shoot the people now, and then she accidentally kills this person, but she thinks it's a host the entire time? That's awkward. But then, of course, this is before that. That happens right before that, in fact, and he just gets hurt very much from this giant shotgun that she shot him with. So then the next time we see them, they are going to their safari hunt so they can hunt Bengal tigers, because whatever. And as things start to get a little fishy, the hosts are kind of missing. She finds two dead bodies that she recognizes from the train into this safari world. We don't know what it's called yet. And then a host appears and shoots the guy and leaves the girl. Well, really, she shoots him in the face, which was very graphic. But there is something I will say. I feel like this woman is very high in charge of this, because she does seem to know these people very well. She knows the host, she must go there a lot. And there's some weird dialogue with her and that guy that ends up dying that is the park wanting to put them together, and I don't know. There's some weird stuff going on about this lady that I think is very important. So basically, she's obviously escaping this guy, or trying to escape in general and figure out what the hell's going on. So she's running, and she kind of seems to know where she's going in a way, to where she knows where the edge of the park is, because she can go there, because then she's hunted by a Bengal tiger, which now can literally maul her to death, because this is a host tiger. And that is just my worst nightmare. And then I realized, wait, this is probably the same tiger that ends up in the first episode, where there's a Bengal tiger that's floated onto the shore of Westworld, because they meet that same big ocean, which I don't understand why it's an ocean. Shouldn't it be a lake technically that's connecting all of them? But I don't know. Not 100% sure. And at the very end of the episode, you actually come back to this, to where you see the tiger's dead, washed up on Westworld. But then you see her still alive, kind of crawling out of the water. And then, of course, she is met by the Native American, very violent tribe in Westworld, and is assumed to have taken her. That's all we know so far. But I feel like these are also the same Native Americans that are dead in the first episode that Dolores killed. So where is this lady? I don't know. For the actual characters that we know, I'm going to start with Bernard, who we are now in the timeline of the present, which is, I believe, the timeline where we started the first season, where it was the 12 days after the massacre of all of the Delos people. And so they finally get to like a secure facility with all of their people. Walk in, you see Tessa Thompson's Charlotte, I believe is her name in the show. You see Charlotte is still alive because we didn't know what happened to her exactly. Last time we knew her and Bernard were together in that weird little outpost where they have those like weird alien type of hosts. Really creepy, but like totally awesome. And they're talking about Peter Abernathy, which is Dolores' father in this whole story that they made for him, which is he is the host that she decided to put in all of the information about Westworld and all these different parks into to smuggle out to Delos to take over the company. I believe is kind of what's going on. I don't know 100%, but they cannot find this guy. And she says something along the lines of like, this host is very elusive or something like that. And then we kind of flash back to the first time that they see him and they free him. But he ends up getting really brave and like coming out and trying to stick up for people for the hosts and gets taken by other hosts, which I didn't realize that the hosts were also just like, randomly, I guess I did realize that, but like Peter Abernathy, the host, was with a whole bunch of the Delos real people, human people, and so I don't know how they're getting mixed up. To be honest, I keep forgetting that really Maeve and Dolores are the only two that know the difference. And basically, we learn how Bernard and Charlotte have split up. Is that Charlotte literally just runs away after the whole Peter Abernathy thing happens, and the hosts that are taking Peter Abernathy also take Bernard, and she gets on a horse, and she trots off. She ends up finding her way into the actual, like, facility place, where she proves that, you know, she's a human, that she's part of the board or whatever, and she gets her own little team to go search for Peter Abernathy, because they're doing sector by sector closings to secure the place. So the next time we see them, we see Dolores has come to the Confederados and joined forces with them, as convinced this guy somehow, saying that she needs the manpower and all this stuff. And then the Delos people come, well, the sort of army that they have somehow got has come to take the hosts, I guess? And it's led by Charlotte, who has somehow tracked down Peter Abernathy, because that's the most important thing. And what you see with this is you see Dolores' interactions with her fake father, who she still has these feelings, I think, for, just the same as with Teddy, how Teddy's always a constant in her different lives. Same thing as Peter Abernathy has been her dad for forever, and she sees that he's kind of broken and wants to fix that and uses Bernard for it, or tries to use Bernard for it. And I still don't know if Dolores knows that Bernard is a host or not. That is something I am unaware of, because to her, he was always kind of the one programming her and making her into who she was. You get this great little fight scene where you really show the ruthlessness of Dolores and how she is just sacrificing all of the Confederados and murdering them, locking them out, and it being a whole thing. And it's a little hard to watch, not gonna lie, because I feel bad for these soldiers, even though, you know, they're Confederate and bad people, but they're hosts. They're literally programmed to do this. They can't not do it. And this is also Teddy seeing more and more what Dolores is becoming, and I really like this. And I feel like this is kind of building to a season 3 of Teddy versus Dolores, where Teddy has maybe gone over to Maeve's side, or is trying to stop Dolores, or maybe Dolores literally just kills him once and for all. And again, this is technically taking place before the big massacre where you find all of the hosts in the ocean that are dead, or presumably dead. We don't really know for sure. So we don't really know what's filling those gaps yet. And you also see the good nature of Teddy, which is great. He lets a couple of people, I think it's like 10 of these soldiers, go because he can't shoot them in the face or whatever, shoot them dead. Dolores sees this and decides not to do anything about it at that moment. And then we go over to the Maeve part of it, she's my favorite character. I really hope this next episode is more Maeve-centric. I'd like to just see what Maeve is doing. And I think it could lead into that with what happens at the end of this episode. But basically, you have her and Hector is his name, not 100% sure, her sort of a lover, and then also the writer that she's with, who I don't know the name at all. They are fleeing from some Native Americans because they are like, you guys can go, but we're taking that guy, and she needs the writer because he's the only one that knows exactly where her daughter is. basically, they flee, they go into one of those elevators, go down into the sort of labyrinth maze that is underneath Westworld and all of these parks. And that's where they picked up Felix, the technician that really helped her become who she was, and his stupid partner who was terrible. And then also we see, I think her name is Isabella or something. She's kind of the outlaw that had the blonde hair that was hooked up with Hector. She has that really cool like snake tattoo. Or dragon tattoo or something like that. And so now they have a posse. They go back up. They're going far into the sort of nether regions of Westworld. Starts snowing, and you're like, what's that? And then the first hint that you get is you see the writer guy pull up a samurai like helmet, and he's just like, oh no, I know what this is. And he runs to him and says, we need to go. And the last shot we get is a samurai coming at them full force with a sword, a katana, about to rip through Maeve. And I'm so excited to see what happens in Shogun World, because we know from the trailer for the whole season that Maeve ends up going to Shogun World. So I'm very excited to see what happens. I hope this is the next episode, and I hope we get way more Maeve, because we have not gotten enough Maeve in this whole season. So overall, I'm still very confused, but pretty happy with being confused, and we're sort of connecting a couple dots here and then opening up a whole lot of holes that we really need to fill. So very happy. I really like this episode. I like the season so far. Way more confusing than the first season, but that's because we know that we're in different timelines. So I hope you guys like this. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Comment down below what are your thoughts on Westworld Season 2 so far. Also, don't forget to subscribe. I make videos Monday through Friday for the most part, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.